ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, one of the things that they do is they mic up a player. And we've always joked and talked about the day is going to come where there's going to be a player who makes an error on the field because of one of these interviews and that they're dumb. They're just basically there for the network and the big wigs at the network to like pat themselves on the shoulder. They don't really do anything for the game that can't be done off the field.
That's correct. They make the players pay attention to the talk instead of the game.
Yeah, it's like focus on me instead of like what's really important right now.
Winning a game,
and,
for instance.
You know, it's all fun and games until it isn't, right?
Exactly.
And last night, we finally got an incident that happened on Sunday Night Baseball. Whether or not it was an error or not, you can make the judgment later yourself. But the victim, I'm going to call him in this circumstance, was none other than Jazz Chisholm Jr. He was playing infield, third base for the Yankees, and he was mic'd up during this little on-field Q&A.
Damn it!
Oh, no. Oh, no. We hear him say, damn it there. He threw the ball away.
Spin throw is right. Difficult play. Difficult.
Yeah, that's all right.
I thought it was funny because Jazz immediately tries to cover for it and be like, oh, spin throw. I had to spin and throw, you know. It was a whirly-durly.
Sure.
And then right away on cue, Carl Ravitch is like, yeah, tough play.
But they don't want to take responsibility that they were chirping into his ear.
No one wants to admit maybe this is not a good idea.
Yeah, and of course not.
You know, you're never going to know, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. Would Jazz Chisholm Jr. have thrown this ball away had he not had the ESPN buddies chapping in his ear? Blip, 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 blip. Nothing I say matters right now.
That's a very good question. You shouldn't multitask because you can never make two things at once as good.
Yeah.
And yet they are expect major league players to play the game and talk at the same time.
Mythbusters, everybody. You can't do two things at the same time. Your brain won't allow it. So anyone that's ever said like, well, you got to multitask, there's no such thing.
Yeah.
Like even in the art of multitasking are individual tasks being done one at a time.
Prioritize.
Indeed. Jazz Chisholm makes a throwing error, at least according to John Boy. Carl Ravitch may disagree. I believe the Red Sox batter here, Rafael Cedeno, I don't remember how to say his last name. Rafaela Cedeno was the one who was awarded a single on this, actually.
Oh, so the Red Sox had a single because of the error.
They didn't give him an error, is what I mean.
Oh, I see.
Because he was awarded a hit in the hit column. If it would have been an error, he would have gotten an offer. He would have reached by fault of the player. In this case, so Jazz got off the hook, and it's a makeable play for Jazz Chisholm Jr. to do, and you just wonder if it prevented him or distracted him. Even that half a second. This is baseball. It's a reactionary game where your reflexes decide who wins and loses sometimes. And here, Jazz Chisholm lost because he threw the ball away. And I feel like these interviews just serve the network and serve the people, but am I alone in this? I don't know.
I'm with you on this. I always question it. How is that okay? I know you're standing in the outfield and waiting for the ball, but that doesn't mean you're not paying attention.
If you try to think about any other sport where they could do this, I know they have mic'd up on football and stuff, but they're not interviewing them in the middle of the football game. They don't interview basketball players in the middle of basketball games. Not even when the other team is shooting free throws. I don't want to give them any ideas. NHL, nobody would talk and interview anybody during a hockey. They're on the ice for like 40-second shifts or less. I don't know. I'm choking, but they're pretty short. My point is, we wouldn't tolerate this in the other sports, but because it's baseball and there's a lot of standing around in between pitches, I think they feel like it's okay, and it's not okay. You need to stop doing this.
Yeah.
This is dumb. This only serves yourselves. The people that are watching the broadcast really don't care.
They don't, but they want to pay attention to the game and their players.
Yeah, and you're taking us away from that, actually. So ESPN baseball is going away, and they're really the only people that I've seen do this.
So that's going to be gone by next season.
And I want to point out another thing. I don't have a problem with this in an all-star game or an exhibition game that's for fun or for charity or anything like that. That's totally different. But in the middle of a game that counts for the 162, no, go away. Just cover the game. Send it down to your own reporters. Do the interviews ahead of the game and cut them in. I don't care, but don't do it with the player during the game that they're playing in. That's tacky and
unnecessary.
I agree. This article caught my attention, Nika.
Okay.
This was written in Sports Illustrated by Ryan Phillips, and it was published, well, probably about 18 hours ago now since I snapshotted it, but it said 15 hours ago when I did. Jazz Chisholm Jr. commits error while giving live interview on Sunday Night Baseball. See, I don't feel like he made an error if they gave the guy a hit. You know, like that's a little bit questionable. So let's get into the article and see where this error occurred, because it said is even in the caption to the picture below, New York Yankees third baseman Jazz Chisholm Jr. reacts after committing an error against the Boston Red Sox. So was it an error or was it a hit? Now I'm confused. Jazz Chisholm Jr.'s may have, I don't even understand the first sentence. Jazz Chisholm Jr.'s may, I think he wanted to say attention. Jazz, so let me fix this for you, Ryan, since you were apparently too much in a hurry to post this article to actually do some proofreading of your own work.
See, he was multitasking.
I've seen so many big name publications, Forbes, Sports Illustrated here,
New York Times.
Take your pick. These guys are in such a hurry to pump out their own content and toot their own horns and be the first one. Mm-hmm. They don't even care about this stuff anymore, and they make the dumbest mistakes that ruin their own credibility.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Ryan Phillips. Your first sentence of your article totally took away all credibility you have in this article because you couldn't just proofread it. Jazz Chisholm Jr.'s attention, I fixed it for you, may have been slightly distracted while trying to make a play Sunday night. During the top of the third inning of the New York Yankees' matchup with the Boston Red Sox, Chisholm was being interviewed live on the field by ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball crew. Cedane Rafaela hit a grounder in Chisholm's direction at third base, which he snared, then spun and threw the ball to first. That's where things went awry. It says Chisholm's throw was wide of first base by a mile, and he yelled, "Damn it," as it flew past first baseman Paul Goldschmidt. Video is below, and that's what we played for you all already. Thank you once again, John Boy, for posting that on X for all of us to see and enjoy. He did yell, "Damn it," and it's kind of like a blooper immortalized. And I just want to correct myself, too, for saying Rafaela Cedane when it's Cedane Rafaela. But yeah, no, I agree. Jazz Chisholm totally would not
come out and point a finger that this is what he would take it as his own error.
He kind of did in the video, right? He was like, "Damn it." And then he kind of had like egg on his face for a minute because I don't think anyone knew what to say. And he was like, "Well, I had to spin and throw." And the announcer was right away there to lift him up and be like, "Oh, yeah,
it's a
tough play, tough play." It said Rafaela was credited with an infield single and advanced to second on Chisholm's throwing error. So that's how they ruled this. They said it was a throwing error, but that it wouldn't have affected the play at first base. However, it did allow the runner to advance to second base, and that's what they are giving him the error for. So if he wouldn't have advanced past first base, then he wouldn't have gotten an error. But because of the advancement, they gave him an error. But it wasn't on actually the single itself. So according to the records keeper, the hit itself is a hit. Mm-hmm. Chisholm's throw caused him to advance to second. That's the error. All right. So it says some will immediately decry the fact that a live interview was going on during the game and say that kind of thing should stop. Yes. I'm saying that to you, Ryan. I'm saying that to you. You're not entitled to interview these guys during the middle of the game. It doesn't add anything of value to the viewer about the actual game that's happening. Nothing that can't be added as context, like I said, from a pregame interview or some kind of setup like that, a sideline reporter, whatever. But honestly, the in-game interviews are one of the best additions to the baseball broadcast in years. Really?
Says who?
I have not seen one person calling for this. The only thing I see online written about this is that this needs to go away, like someone's going to make an error one day. Oops.
And you just mentioned that ESPN is the only channel that does this.
The only channel that I've seen do it. It's possible Fox did it on Saturday as well. I'm trying to think that maybe Jackson Merrill was actually on the microphone in the fifth inning now that I'm recollecting it. But either way, I think this idea originated with the Sunday Night Baseball crew. I am confident in saying that.
Well, time to put it back.
It says it was actually really cool seeing the guy talking to the broadcasters, attempting to make a play, as well as his genuine reaction when he messed up. Really?
How is that?
I think he was embarrassed. Don't you?
I would.
I feel like Jazz Chisholm was embarrassed and didn't know what to say and started making excuses for it because he knew he made a bad play and didn't want to like blurt out and be like, well, that was a crappy throw. If I'm a Yankees fan watching this and I see my player make an error when the network is interviewing him in the middle of the game.
Wouldn't the network be called out and cause an interference? What if somebody bet money on this?
Maybe the Yankees should sue ESPN for malpractice or interference or something like that. Would be hilarious.
ESPN interferes.
I'm being facetious because obviously the player agreed to do this. The team agrees to do this. Remember, it's part of the whole spiel. You know?
I will bring out Juan Soto.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. Juan Soto famously,
of the same reasons, probably. He knows how things might go.
Well, and we know how Juan Soto is. He needs all the concentration he can get, folks.
Yes.
Don't let him start yapping when he's in the field. I wouldn't trust it.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. I don't feel like this was a genuine reaction. These guys have media training, remember. Mm-hmm. They have media training, and they're talking to the media. And even though they're on the field, that still kicks in. That practice still kicks in. In fact, somebody might whisper in their ear like, hey, remember your media training even though you're on the field. Like before the inning starts. You just don't know. But I wouldn't put it past modern marketing, modern corporate control. All these teams are run like that.
I would like to see a pitcher mic'd up.
Yeah.
And see how that goes.
Or Dodgers. A catcher trying to relay signals and stuff.
Oh my gosh. They will have chirping on one ear from the team and from ESPN on the another ear.
And then fingers in the middle, like communicating signals to the pitcher. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Again, a linebacker wouldn't be mic'd up in the middle of a football game talking to Troy Aikman or Joe Buck. So I don't understand why it's acceptable here. We wouldn't see, Tyrese Halliburton on the Pacers in the middle of a finals game talking to the ABC or ESPN crew. You just would not see it, even during a free throw. Don't get any ideas.
Yeah.
You are not going to see this in hockey for the obvious reasons of the speed of the game and for the fact that they're not on the ice very long at a time. So what are we doing here? You're just making an excuse because you think that there's these windows of pockets of time.
Marketing.
You're taking away focus from the player and their job. Like, would you want somebody interviewing you while you're doing your job, Carl Ravitch? Or trying to write something or trying to beat a deadline? Like, you used to be a Sports Center anchor.
What happened?
Yeah, you got on this cool Sunday night baseball gig, but once upon a time, Kenny remembers you on the big show in the morning when he was eating his breakfast, getting ready to go to school. And, so don't try to tell me that you didn't have these responsibilities once upon a time. You wouldn't want somebody chirping at you being like, hey, what are you doing? How is it like writing for ESPN? Is it really cool? What time do you get up every day? What's your breakfast routine like? Do you wear foot powder in your shoes and keep your feet dry all day? Where does it end?
How does it feel to be on the outfield?
How does it feel to be a Sports Center anchor at 6 a.m, East Coast time? What's it like getting up at the ass crack of dawn to do your job come on. This doesn't need to happen. I had to accent that final sentence there at the bottom. Here's hoping we see more of this stuff. Really? I don't want to see it anymore. It can go away for all I care.
This is not enhancing the game. I'm sorry, it's not. It's not making the game faster or more enjoyable.
Name me one on-field interview that has revealed anything earth-shattering that nobody knew about before that we all love knowing about now. Name me one. Name me one time that this proved it was worth it in the existence of humanity. Please.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Exactly. No one remembers. No one recalls. I don't recall, Nika.
I don't recall. I don't think there has been one player that admitted something earth-shattering while playing a game and being mic'd up.
I don't either. I feel like it's all just manufactured propaganda in the end of the day for the individual player, for the team that they're on, for the league, for some cause that they have going on, perhaps. I'm not saying any of these things aren't interesting in their own right or important, but it's not important in the middle of the third inning. I am just going to once again call out Ryan Phillips here and be like, I think you need to rethink your whole position on this. What is this adding to the game itself? And don't Yankees fans have a right to be ticked off and irritated if a player is distracted and potentially makes a mistake? You're kind of arguing that like, oh, well, the chance that a player makes an error is worth it because this is really cool. I don't think it's worth it for any player to make an error over something that's just really cool. And I take issue with that. I don't know if this is just modern marketing at work here influencing this generation, but it's not good. This whole idea of interviewing players during the middle of an inning reeks of modern marketing.
It does.
And I'm sure it originated in some room with marketing executives somewhere like, why don't we interview the players during the game? We have this unique opportunity in baseball. There's so much standing around. They're bored anyway. Like, lady, they're paying attention.
This comes from people that never played the game. You have to take that under consideration. They never played the game. They never been out in the outfield or infield and hit or threw a ball. So there's that.
I agree. And it just feels like we don't take enough time to put ourselves in other people's shoes.
Oh, that's
especially, people that have more than us in life, right? We don't tend to do that. But yet I can put myself in Jazz Chisholm's shoes and say, I don't want to be on a microphone talking to you guys while I'm supposed to be concentrating on what the count is. What hitter is up? Is there a runner on base? There wasn't in this point. But what do I do if the ball is hit to me? That's the way I was taught to play the game, and you do that on every pitch. So what are we doing here? They have a job to do. Not all 9 of them. The catcher, the pitcher, the infield, the outfield, all of them. They all have a job to do on every single pitch, no matter what.